Hi everyone, it's Laura Renner here, your outsourcing expert. I'm giving my bi-weekly expert panel in the Female Fearless and Financially Flourishing group, and I'm going to be talking about outsourcing in general, but today I want to talk about having a doable to-do list because when you have that in order, one, you're able to be more productive, but you're also able to rely on your VA a little bit more. So I've been trying to keep these closer to 5 minutes to make them more watchable, if you will. And so what we're going to talk about a couple things today. One, we're going to talk about why or how to-do list works kind of thing. And then I'm going to give you some quick tips on how to have a doable to-do list. So if you take a look at your list right now, if you have it written down or online somewhere, just look at it, glance at it, take a minute, think about it, like breathe, think about it, and look at what's on your list and ask yourself, which of these could be outsourced? I mean, I have to talk about outsourcing, right? Now, don't think about it in the sense of, oh, well, I'd have to train someone, or I'd have to set this up, or I'd have to set that up. None of that right now. Just think more about what on this list could be outsourced. And then if you identify one or two things, and then you're like, okay, then that might start triggering some ideas of, okay, I would need to set up X, Y, and Z in order for it to be outsourced, and I can take care of that this weekend or an hour on Monday, that kind of thing, and then you can have that one little thing outsourced. But periodically review your to-do list. What on here could be outsourced? Or if you already have a VA or even an on-site admin person, have them go through the list and say, which of these could you take on for me? A really good one will be doing that for you automatically and asking, what can I take off your plate? The other thing, and I've mentioned this in other videos in the past as well, but if you think about your to-do list like an upside down pyramid, so what's at the top is the most important and most urgent, and therefore it's the widest part of the pyramid. And as you go further down the list, the less urgent or less important it becomes, then it comes down to that point in a pyramid. So something that might be at the bottom is preparing for your child's play, like something you're volunteering, you got to put together something for the play, or you're planning a tournament for your kid's sports team, and you got to take care of some things for that. So they're important, but they're not necessarily urgent, or they're not as important as the things that you need to pay the bills, right? And so they get put at the bottom of your to-do list, and they're in that little point down there. The problem though is because that is important, but it's at the bottom of your to-do list, it doesn't get done. So then over time, your pyramid starts inverting or going right side up. So now the things that really are the least important are now taking up the most space in your brain and in your energy because you haven't done it yet, right? So you're driving to work and you're thinking about the volunteer thing that you haven't done yet. And really it's not a big thing, but it's gotten big in your head because it's been at the bottom of your list so long and it's not moving from your list. So if you think about that, like how your pyramid goes from this, your to-do list goes from this to this, and now things that aren't as important are taking up the most space in your brain and your energy, then that makes you less productive. So when you have that framework in mind, what are some things you can do to have a more doable to-do list so that your pyramid doesn't go wrong side up? And so that's one of the things you can do. Can you outsource the things that are at the bottom of your pyramid? Some other ways to do it, if it's more of a productivity type thing, we're going to cover 5 productivity type things. One I've heard is called eat the frog, where the thing you're least interested in doing or putting off the most, do it first, so that way you get it over with and done with and everything else is easy. That doesn't work for me. It might work for you, it might not work for you, but know that there are other options if that doesn't work for you. Another one is like time blocking, where you're actually putting on your calendar, okay, from this time to this time, I'm going to do this task, and from that time to that time, I'm going to do that task. So that might also be a way, if you're a diehard follower of your calendar, that might also work for you. And then it sets aside time for the things that, you basically manage your time. The third is, I think it's called like Pomodoro or something like that. But I read a different version in another article that I've been using, and when I talk about it, people say, oh, that's like the Pomodoro Technique or whatnot, where you basically set aside time to do work and then a time for a break. So in my case, I'll work for 52 minutes and take a 17-minute break. But during that break, I'm not on Facebook, I'm not on my computer or on TV, I'm reading a book, I'm playing with the dog, I'm going for a walk, I'm talking to a friend, things like that. And I have found that my stamina stays up throughout the day when I do that. And people, I think the Pomodoro is like 25 minutes with a 7-minute break or something like that. So that seems to work for them. Number 4 is what I have, it's kind of the opposite of Eat the Frog, but it works for me because Eat the Frog doesn't work for me. And that is doing the small, easy tasks first. And I put them up at the top, not small in importance, but small in time, in thinking, so that I can just get it done right away. And if my first 3 tasks take me less than 5 minutes each to do, but that's enough time to get me rolling. So then the 4th task, which might be a little longer, isn't so intimidating, and I just get up and do it. That's where Eat the Frog doesn't work for me, because it's so intimidating that I just never get started. But if I have my first easy wins, then I'm able to take on the harder wins. And then number 5, the last one, there are some tech tools out there that, if you find one that works for you, really helps with managing a to-do list. I prefer paper myself, but there are times where it kind of continues to repeat, or if it's like a major project and I want to just keep some tasks outlined in the project or whatnot. There are different software tools. A lot of them are free. One that I liked was called Workflowy, and it's basically just a never-ending bullet list that you can keep going. And I mean, there are paid versions, but and there are a lot of different types of software out there, but that is one that I happen to use. So those are the 5 different ways you can handle to-do lists. Eat the Frog, time blocking, Pomodoro, or the 52-minute work, 17-minute break. The opposite of Eat the Frog, with the easy victories up front, and then some tech tools to keep track of your to-do list. But overall, you know, the key thing is productivity. And so if your to-do list is too long, you got to really investigate how do you make it easier, either by improving systems or letting go of some things, or outsourcing. That's all I have for today. If you want to share some of your tips for having a doable to-do list, feel free to share them in the comment section. Or if you want to talk more about some of the 5 techniques I listed, I'm happy to continue that conversation. All right, I'll see you in a couple weeks. For those of you in the U.S., happy 4th of July, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks. Bye.